The entire galaxy froze in fear the day the broadcast began. No one expected it. No one was prepared. One moment, the screens across space were silent, showing normal news channels, trade routes, and weather updates. And then, suddenly, everything switched to a single image. A dark throne room. A tall figure standing under red lights. The symbol of the Galactic Empire burning behind him. Millions of aliens and humans watching the broadcast felt their hearts drop at the same time. Something was wrong. Something terrible was about to happen. Even the strongest warriors felt a cold wave move down their spine. In the United Human Alliance war room on Earth, Commander Rhea Malik stared at the screen with disbelief. Her hands slowly closed into fists. She had seen the Empire's cruelty before, but this looked far worse. The Emperor of the Galactic Empire stepped forward. His voice echoed like thunder across every world. Earth refuses to bow. Earth refuses to obey. So today, the galaxy will watch the price of defiance. People watching the broadcast gasped. Some screamed. Some cried. Some froze completely. The Emperor lifted his hand, and a bright blue light appeared behind him. It was a planet, a human colony world, with billions of people living on it. Children going to school. Families eating dinner, workers returning home, all unaware of what was coming. Commander Rhea's breath stopped. No, not Nova Terra, she whispered. Her brother lived there. Her little niece lived there. The Emperor raised a strange crystal device. In 10 seconds, he said slowly, the world behind me will burn, and the galaxy will learn what happens when Earth resists our rule. 10 seconds. That was all. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. Across the galaxy, people started shouting. Stop it. This is madness. You can't do this. But the Emperor only smiled. 7, 6, 5. Commander Rhea felt tears in her eyes, but she didn't look away. If her family was going to die, she would witness their last moment. 4, 3, 2. A blinding flash filled the screen. Then the planet cracked open like breaking glass. A wave of white fire swallowed cities. Skies turned to dust. Mountains exploded. Billions of voices cried out, and then went silent forever. The galaxy screamed in terror. But the Emperor wasn't finished. He raised another hologram, another human colony, and another countdown began. Within minutes, one colony after another was destroyed. 1 billion, 3 billion, 7 billion, 10 billion. 10 billion innocent humans died as the galaxy watched helplessly. 10 billion lives ended while the Emperor smiled. On Earth, silence spread like poison. People stood in shock. Mothers collapsed. Strong men dropped to their knees. Children cried without understanding why. Humanity had lost entire worlds, entire families, entire histories. The Emperor leaned closer to the camera. Earth, he said softly, this is your final warning. Kneel, or your home will burn next. The broadcast ended. For a long moment, no one moved. No one spoke. Not a single screen changed. Then, slowly, Earth woke up. In the war room, alarms began ringing. Lights flashed red. Officers shouted orders. But Commander Rhea Malik stood perfectly still. Her niece's last laugh echoed in her mind. Her brother's voice. The faces of millions of innocent people. She wiped her tears, turned to her generals, and said 5 words that would change history. Activate Project Ragnarok. Full fury. A deadly silence filled the room. Project Ragnarok was something even high-ranking officers feared. It was a plan designed for one purpose. Not defense, not negotiation. Vengeance. The generals hesitated. Commander, this protocol. Rhea cut them off. Do it. Now. Across Earth, giant underground silos opened. Massive warships powered up. Engines roared to life. Sleepers. Elite soldiers kept in stasis, awoke with glowing eyes. Hidden weapons, old secrets, and forbidden technology. All of it came alive for the first time. A deep voice echoed from Earth's central AI. Project Ragnarok confirmed. Humanity's fury is online. The galaxy had always thought humans were weak, too emotional, too fragile. Too attached to families, friends, and small things like hope. But the Empire had made one fatal mistake. They took everything humanity loved. And now humanity had nothing left to lose. On Earth's moon, the supercarrier HFS Vengeance opened its massive hangar. Thousands of fighter jets inside powered up their engines. Pilots strapped in, silent and focused. The ship's captain gave a single command. For the 10 billion. Every pilot repeated the words. Every soldier whispered them. Every warship displayed them on their screens. For the 10 billion. Commander Rhea stood before the final activation panel. She placed her hand on it. The screen scanned her identity. A deep, heavy sound vibrated through the entire command center. Earth's full might, every weapon, every fleet, every hidden project, was now aimed at the Galactic Empire. War drums echoed across the stars. And far away, the Empire had no idea that humanity was coming. Not to negotiate, not to survive, but to end them. The Galactic Empire celebrated long into the night after killing 10 billion humans. Their palace halls were filled with laughter, music, and cruel jokes. To them, the massacre was not a tragedy. It was entertainment. The Emperor sat on his throne, drinking a glowing red liquid, surrounded by generals who proudly reported the destruction. Earth will kneel by sunrise, one general said with a smug smile. Humans will beg for mercy, another added. The Emperor only raised his cup and whispered, let them come, if they have the courage. He expected fear. He expected surrender. He expected Earth to break. But far from his throne, in the cold dark of space, something else was happening. Something he never imagined. Humanity was not kneeling. Humanity was sharpening its blade. The silence before the storm. For 12 hours, the galaxy noticed something strange. All human communications went dark. Not a single signal. Not a single broadcast. Not a single human voice. Alien diplomats, traitors, and spies panicked. Are humans defeated? Are they hiding? Are they scared? None of them understood the truth. Earth was not silent because it was afraid. Earth was silent because it was preparing. In the UN war room, Commander Rhea Malik stood in front of a star map glowing with hundreds of red enemy systems. Her voice was low, steady, and filled with controlled fire. Today, she said, we do not fight for territory. We do not fight for politics. We fight for the 10 billion. Her generals nodded. Her soldiers saluted. Every eye burned with the same rage. The time had come. The first jump. In deep space, a lonely Imperial scanner ship drifted quietly between star systems. 2 bored alien technicians were playing cards, barely watching their screens. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A warning beeped. One of them frowned. Strange gravitational distortion detected. The second laughed, probably a rock passing by. Then the distortion grew. Then it multiplied. Then it turned into hundreds of distortions. The technician's smile died. His voice trembled. These are not rocks. He swallowed. These are warp signatures. The 2 stared at their screen as hundreds, no, thousands, of human warships appeared out of nothing. Giant carriers. Shadow black destroyers. Triangular dreadnoughts with glowing blue scars. At the front was a ship larger than any Imperial cruiser. HFS Vengeance. The scanner ship tried to send a message to the Empire, but before the signal could reach, a single beam of white light cut through their vessel. The human fleet didn't slow down, didn't communicate, didn't explain. They were not here to talk. The Empire panics. Within minutes, Imperial Command received alarms. Unknown fleet detected. Multiple human signatures approaching. Loss of contact with scanner ship. The Emperor stood up slowly, the color leaving his face. How many? He demanded. Silence. The Admiral checking the report whispered. Too many more than we have ever seen. The Emperor clenched his jaw. So Earth chooses war. But the Admiral shook his head. No, Your Highness. This is not war. This is revenge. The message that shocked the galaxy. Before the Empire could launch its defense fleet, every Imperial screen turned blue. A human symbol appeared, a shattered chain glowing like fire. A single voice spoke. Not angry, not loud, just cold for the 10 billion. Every pilot repeated it. Every soldier whispered it. Every human ship displayed it. Across the galaxy, aliens watching the transmission felt something new. Not fear of destruction, not fear of humans. They felt fear of what humans had become when pushed too far. The first strike. The human fleet moved like a storm. Silent, precise, deadly. Imperial outposts in the border system saw nothing but bright flashes before they were erased. Patrol fleets tried to intercept, but were gone within minutes. Human ships didn't give warnings, didn't pause, didn't miss. The Empire quickly realized something horrifying. Earth wasn't sending only warships. It was sending Nightfall units, the most feared human soldiers, hidden for decades, trained for one purpose: entering enemy ships unseen, eliminating everyone, and leaving without a sound. Entire Imperial battleships went dark from the inside. Lights flickered once, then never turned on again. The Emperor slammed his fist on the table. This cannot be humans. They are too weak for this. But he was lying to himself. He knew exactly what this was. This was humanity when their heart was broken. This was humanity when pushed into a corner. This was humanity fighting for their dead. And nothing in the galaxy was more dangerous. The moment the Empire realized the truth. As the human fleet crossed into Imperial territory, something unbelievable appeared on every Imperial screen. A live broadcast. Humans, standing on the bridge of HFS Vengeance. Commander Rhea Malik stepped forward. Her eyes were not angry. They were colder. She spoke only one line. Empire, we are coming for you. The broadcast ended, but the fear stayed. The Galactic Empire believed it understood human technology. They had studied Earth for centuries. They had copied human ships, human engines, even human armor designs. Their scientists had repeated the same line again and again. Humans are strong but predictable. They were wrong. They were very wrong. Because the Empire had only seen what Earth wanted them to see. They had never seen what Earth had been hiding. And now, after the death of 10 billion innocents, humanity finally opened the vaults they had sworn never to touch. The Empire's first disaster. In the Imperial Command Center, alarms blared as their border fleets crumbled. Admiral, Sector 91 is gone. Sector 92 just went silent. We lost 3 cruisers in under 10 seconds. The Emperor's eyes widened. How? How is this possible? No one had an answer, because no one had ever seen weapons like these. The quantum spears arrive. Near the border stars, the Imperial Fifth Fleet prepared to fire its main cannons, but before the order could be given, something strange happened. The space in front of them shimmered, as if reality itself was bending. Then thousands of thin black rods appeared out of nowhere, hanging silently in space. The Imperial Admiral frowned. What are those? Mines? Drones? A young officer shook his head. No, they're not emitting any signal. Before anyone could understand, the rods suddenly vanished and reappeared inside Imperial ships. A heartbeat later, boom, boom, boom. Entire cruisers exploded from the inside, tore apart by something they couldn't track or stop. Those rods were humanity's first forbidden weapon, quantum spears, projectiles that teleported through shields, hulls, and armor directly into a ship's core. The Empire panicked. Raise the shields. Evade. Fire back. But nothing worked. The quantum spears ignored every defense like it wasn't even there. They stabbed through one ship after another until the Fifth Fleet was nothing but silent wreckage floating through space. Ghost Marines, the Empire's worst nightmare. The Emperor slammed his fist on the table. What else do they have? Show me the battlefield. The screen shifted to another location, where a massive Imperial battleship, Titanus Rex, was fighting desperately. Its heavy cannons fired wildly at the approaching human fleet. Suddenly, the ship's lights flickered. Then the doors began opening by themselves. One by one, crew members screamed. Who opened that? There's no one there. What is happening? Then the temperature dropped. A cold mist filled the hallways, and shadows moved. Not monsters, not aliens, But humans, wearing black armor that absorbed light, carrying weapons that made no sound, with helmets glowing like blue skulls, they walked through walls. Literally, they weren't teleporting. They weren't running. They were phasing, passing through solid matter like ghosts. These were the soldiers of Earth's most secret group, Nightfall Division, Ghost Marines. One Marine appeared behind an Imperial officer, placed a hand on his shoulder, and whispered, "For the 10 billion." The officer didn't even have time to scream before everything went dark. Within 4 minutes, the entire battleship went silent. All crew gone. All systems turned off. The ship drifted into space like a dead whale. The Emperor felt sweat forming on his forehead. "These are humans?" One of his generals swallowed. "Your Majesty, this is something else." The sunshot cannons wake up. The next scene showed the Empire's largest fortress world. A planet covered in steel, shields, and weapon platforms. A world that had never fallen in 700 years. Its defense commander stood proudly. "Let the humans come. They cannot break us." But then the sky turned white. The entire upper atmosphere glowed like a rising star. Sensors broke. Shields overloaded. Heat levels spiked higher than any weapon known. The commander stared at the sky, confused. What is that?" A human ship appeared from the warp, but it didn't fire missiles. Instead, the ship charged a long golden rail mounted on its front, glowing brighter and brighter until the clouds themselves burned away. Then it fired. A beam of pure sunlight, focused, weaponized, unstoppable, punched straight through the fortress planet's shields, melted its surface like wax, and drilled a glowing scar deep into the crust. Every Imperial watcher gasped. It was the most powerful planetary weapon ever used in war. The Sunshot Cannon, a weapon Earth created but swore never to use. Until now, the Emperor finally understands. Watching everything unfold, the Emperor's hands shook, not from fear, but from the realization that he had made the greatest mistake of his reign. He whispered to himself, "I thought humans were simple." His general corrected him quietly. "No, Your Highness, humans are kind. That is not the same thing." Then he added, "And you killed the people they loved." The Emperor felt something he had not felt in decades. Fear. Commander Rhea sends a final message. On the bridge of HFS Vengeance, Commander Rhea Malik prepared another broadcast. Her face was calm. Her eyes were cold. She spoke only one sentence. "Empire, you open the gates. Now walk through the fire." And with that, Earth's full fury moved forward, toward the Empire's core worlds. The Emperor of the Galactic Empire had ruled for more than 3 centuries. He had crushed rebellions, burned planets, and erased entire species without blinking. His people believed he was unshakable, invincible, a god. But on this day, the Emperor was not a god. He was a man watching his empire crumble piece by piece. The first report that broke the silence. The command hall was quiet, too quiet. Imperial officers stood frozen at their screens, staring in disbelief. Red warning symbols flashed everywhere. "Your Majesty," an aide whispered. "To the humans, they have destroyed the 5th Fleet." The Emperor didn't blink. "Impossible." The aide swallowed. "They used weapons we've never seen." The Emperor turned slowly, his golden cloak dragging across the floor as he walked to the main hollow table. One glance was enough. Entire star sectors had turned black on the map, meaning lost, silent, gone. "How long?" he asked quietly. 10 minutes, Your Majesty," the aide said, voice shaking. "Only 10 minutes." For the first time in his life, something pierced the Emperor's chest. Not a blade, not a weapon, but a feeling he had forgotten long ago. Fear. The galaxy begins to whispers. Outside the Empire, alien governments release secret reports. Everywhere, from the icy worlds of the Harkon Union to the swamp cities of the Drex Republic, people whispered the same sentence. Humans are coming. And none of them said it with excitement. They said it with trembling voices. Because all of them had seen the live holos of quantum spears cutting through fleets, ghost marines walking through walls, and sunshot cannons melting fortress worlds. A Drex news anchor said it best. In one day, humans destroyed what the Empire built in centuries. This is something new. Across the galaxy, species once afraid of the Empire now watch the sky with hope and terror. Hope that the Empire would fall. Terror that humanity might become worse. The Emperor's private chamber, breaking point. Deep inside the Imperial Palace, the Emperor entered his private chamber. Only one person followed, his oldest advisor, the High Strategist Vorn. Vorn was the only one brave enough to speak bluntly. "Your Majesty," Vorn said, bowing, "this is not a war we can win." The Emperor's jaw tightened. "We are the Empire. We always win." "Not this time," Vorn whispered. "These humans, they are different now." The Emperor turned sharply. "How are they different?" "They were weak, emotional, divided." Vorn met his eyes. "They were, until you killed 10 billion. Silence crushed the room. "Humans fight hardest when everything is taken from them," Vorn continued. "They don't surrender, they transform." The Emperor slammed his fist on the wall, cracking the stone. "I wanted to break their spirit," he growled. "I wanted to show the galaxy that defiance has a price." Vorn lowered his voice. "And instead, you gave them a reason to never stop." The message that shattered his confidence. A calm officer rushed into the chamber, sweating. "Your Majesty, urgent transmission." The Emperor gestured. "Show it." A hollow screen flickered on, showing a destroyed Imperial cruiser drifting in space. Inside the bridge, carved into the metal floor with a blade, were 4 words. "For the 10 billion. The Emperor's heart staggered. "They left a message?" "Yes," the officer whispered. "They want you to see it." The Emperor's hand trembled, not with weakness, but with rage turning into panic. A second blow, the loss of the Crown Prince. A second transmission came through. "Your Majesty, the Crown Prince's fleet." The Emperor interrupted sharply. "What about my son?" The officer's voice cracked. They boarded his flagship." The Emperor stepped forward, eyes widening. A video clip played. Ghost Marines phasing through the steel walls of the prince's ship. The prince drawing his blade. A short but fierce fight. Then a final cry. "For humanity." The screen cut to black. The Emperor did not speak. His gold crown slipped slightly on his head. His son, the heir of the Empire, was dead, killed by humans. The throne hall stayed silent, too afraid to breathe around him. Humanity reaches the inner systems. Hours later, a new alarm echoed like thunder. "Your Majesty, the human fleet has broken through the Trinity barrier." The Emperor's eyes snapped open. Impossible. The Trinity barrier has never been breached. But Earth didn't care whether something had never been breached. Earth had no interest in records. Earth had rage, and rage breaks everything. On the holomap, the human fleet moved like a burning tide, erasing everything in its path. Every jump took them closer to the Empire's heart, closer to the Emperor. Vorn whispered, "They are coming here. To you." The Emperor whispered back, voice shaking, "Why? Why attack the capital? They already made their point." Vorn slowly closed his eyes. "They are not trying to make a point. They are coming for justice." The Emperor realizes the truth. Hours passed with no sleep, no food, and no hope. The Emperor sat on his throne, staring at the giant windows showing the stars. For the first time, he truly understood what he had done. He had not punished Earth. He had created a monster with a broken heart, a monster with 10 billion ghosts pushing forward. He whispered into the empty hall, "What have I unleashed?" The lights flickered. A distant explosion echoed through the palace. Humanity had reached the capital system, and the Emperor finally realized this wasn't humans fighting. This was humanity remembering, and humanity remembering their dead was the deadliest force in the galaxy. The capital of the Galactic Empire, Aurelius Prime, had always been a world of comfort and pride. Its towers touched the clouds. Its streets shone with gold. Its citizens believed nothing could harm them. Not pirates, not rebels, not even war. For 700 years, no enemy fleet had ever reached this system. But on this day, every citizen of Aurelius Prime stood outside, staring at the sky with wide, terrified eyes because the impossible was happening. The sky was cracking open, not from lightning, not from storms, but from warp tears, thousands of them. White medium star, the calm before the human storm. On the palace balcony, the emperor watched the sky alone. He looked older than he ever had. Lines of fear cut deep into his face. Behind him, High Strategist Vorn approached slowly. "Your Majesty," he said quietly, "the citizens are panicking. Many want evacuation." The emperor shook his head. "There is nowhere safe. They will follow us." Vorn lowered his voice. "The humans?" The emperor closed his eyes. "No, the storm." Vorn frowned. "What storm?" The emperor pointed at the sky. "That one." Because above them, the warp openings grew larger and larger and larger. Each tier formed a glowing blue ring, like a mouth opening to swallow the world. "White medium star, the human fleet arrives." Then, with a deep, thunderous hum, the first ship appeared. Huge, black, silent, a shape built not for beauty, but for one purpose: war. The name on its hull glowed in white letters: HFS Vengeance. The citizens gasped. Some screamed. Some fell to their knees in shock. Then more human ships arrived. Dozens, hundreds, thousands. They blotted out the sky until Aurelius Prime was under a full eclipse. An imperial child looked up, trembling. "Papa, are they here to destroy us?" Her father didn't answer, because he didn't know. He only hugged her tightly. White medium star, the Imperial defense fails instantly. Inside the Imperial defense tower, generals shouted orders. "Raise the shields. Power all cannons. Launch every fighter we have." But as soon as the first Imperial fighters launched, something unbelievable happened. A pulse wave radiated from HFS Vengeance, silent, clean, blue. The Imperial fighters froze midair. Their engines shut off. Their lights died. Their weapons went offline. They fell like stones from the sky. "What weapon is that?" the general cried. "It's not a weapon," an officer whispered. "It's a shutdown signal." The humans had created a code that disarmed enemy technology. No explosions. No casualties. Just silence. The Empire's strongest defense force had fallen without a single shot. White medium star, the walk of the human fleet. The human fleet didn't fire at the city, didn't destroy civilian buildings, didn't attack the planet. They simply moved through the skies slowly, deliberately, like giants walking across a battlefield they had already won. The capital watched in terrified silence. "What do they want?" Vorn whispered. The emperor replied with a trembling voice. "They want me." White medium star, the broadcast that shocked the Empire. Suddenly, every screen on Aurelius Prime flickered on. The streets, the buildings, homes, shops, the palace walls. All screens showed the bridge of HFS Vengeance. Commander Rhea Malik stood confident and calm. Her eyes were cold like frozen steel. Behind her, the entire human fleet shimmered with power. She didn't shout. She didn't threaten. She simply said, "Empire, today is the day you answer for 10 billion deaths." Every imperial heart stopped. Rhea continued, "We are not here for conquest. We are not here for glory. We are here for justice." Her voice echoed across the world. No more massacres. No more empires built on fear. No more rulers killing the innocent. She leaned closer to the camera, her face expressionless. "We come only for the man responsible." The emperor felt a chill crawl down his spine. White medium star human troops land on the capital planet. The warp rings above the sky shifted. Thousands of human dropships descended like falling stars. White flames trailed behind them, lighting up the sky. When they landed, the ground trembled. Soldiers in heavy armor marched out, not shouting, not breaking things, not harming civilians. Their discipline terrified the imperial citizens more than violence ever could. One citizen whispered, "They aren't like our soldiers." Another answered, "They're not soldiers, they're something else." White medium star, the last line breaks. The emperor rushed back into the palace command hall. Mobilize a royal guard, he demanded. But Vorn stepped in front of him. They won't survive. We must fight, the Emperor yelled. Vorn shook his head. No, your majesty. You must face them. The Emperor froze. It was the first time anyone had ever said those words to him. White medium-star humanity takes the capital. Outside the palace, human forces surrounded every wall. Ghost Marines phased through steel gates like shadows. Nightfall units climbed towers with silent claws. The Sunshot fleet hovered above, glowing like a second sun. And in the center of it all, Commander Rhea Malik stepped forward, her armor shining. She spoke loud enough for the entire capital to hear. Emperor of the Galaxy, come out. Your time is over. The palace shook with fear. Citizens watched from their windows as the human commander raised her hand, and the gates of the Imperial Palace slowly opened by themselves. The Emperor stood inside, alone, and Earth's Fury stood outside, waiting. The gates of the Imperial Palace opened with a long, trembling sound. Dust rose from the ancient floors. The air inside was cold, heavy, and filled with the weight of thousands of years of tyranny. Commander Rhea Malik stepped forward. Her armor was marked with scratches from countless battles. Her eyes held no anger, only purpose. Behind her, elite human soldiers stood silent, forming a protective circle around the entrance. But Rhea lifted her hand. No one follows, she ordered softly. This is my responsibility. Her soldiers saluted and stepped back. Rhea walked inside alone. White medium star, the Emperor waits in the throne hall. The throne hall of the Galactic Empire was enormous, carved from stone, gold, and stolen treasures of 100 worlds. But today it felt empty, cold, hollow. At the far end of the hall, the Emperor stood in front of his throne. He looked smaller than before, not physically, but in presence. His confidence, his aura, his cruel pride, all had drained away. When he saw Rhea walking toward him, his fingers tightened around the arm of the throne. So, the human commander arrives, he whispered. Rhea stopped several meters away. You killed 10 billion innocent lives, she said calmly. You already know why I'm here. The Emperor laughed weakly. Revenge, and how predictable. Rhea shook her head. No, justice. White medium star, the Emperor's last attempt at power. He straightened suddenly, voice growing louder. I am the ruler of this galaxy. I decide what justice is. The palace walls shook from his roar. But you, he pointed at her, you are just a soldier. Rhea met his eyes without blinking. A soldier who came for truth, she replied, and who carries 10 billion voices behind her. The Emperor's face twitched. For the first time, he felt those voices surrounding him, ghosts of the innocent pressing on his soul. He looked away. White medium star, the duel begins. Without warning, the Emperor activated the ancient weapon on his arm. A crimson energy blade burst from his wrist, crackling with electricity. Rhea did not flinch. Her armor lit up, forming a blue plasma edge along her forearm. A shield and blade combined. The Emperor lunged first. His strike hit Rhea's blade with a blast of sparks. The hall echoed with every clash. Stone cracked under their feet. The golden statues shook. But Rhea's movements were calm, clean, controlled, like a warrior who had trained for this moment her entire life. The Emperor fought like a desperate man clinging to power. Rhea fought like a woman carrying a galaxy's sorrow. White medium star, the Emperor loses control. With every exchange, the Emperor grew more frantic. You humans ruin everything you touch, he spat. Rhea pushed back. You killed children. The Emperor swung harder, voice cracking. They were a message. Rhea blocked again. And now you received the reply. Her blade slid across his guard and struck his armor. Sparks exploded. He staggered back, breathing heavily. For the first time in centuries, the Emperor bled. White medium star conversation in the middle of battle. He wiped the blood from his chin and stared at it in disbelief. Do you know how long I have ruled? He whispered. Rhea circled him. Too long. I built this empire, he shouted. I brought order. You brought fear, Rhea said softly. And now fear's returned to you. The Emperor tightened his grip on his blade. Humans, you should have bowed. You should have surrendered. Rhea stepped closer. You killed our people. You shattered our families. You broke our hearts. Her voice grew quiet, dangerously quiet. Do you understand, Emperor? Humans do not surrender when their hearts break. They become unstoppable. The words hit him harder than her blade. White medium star, the Emperor's last stand. With a scream of frustration, he charged again. Their blades collided in an explosion of light. Rhea pushed him back. He stumbled over the steps of his throne, barely maintaining balance. He screamed, voice shaking. I am the Emperor. I cannot lose. Rhea stepped up the throne steps after him. You already lost, she said. The moment you killed the innocent. The Emperor swung wildly. Rhea deflected, stepped aside, and with one precise motion, she cut the emitter on his arm. The crimson blade vanished instantly. The Emperor froze. He looked at his empty hand. No, no, no. White medium star, the end of a tyrant. Rhea stood above him now. He looked up with terrified eyes, eyes of a man who finally understood the weight of what he had done. Please, he whispered, do not kill me. Rhea stared at him. For 10 billion souls, she said, I won't kill you. The Emperor blinked in shock. You won't? Rhea leaned closer. No, I will do something worse. She activated her communicator. This is Commander Rhea Malik, she said. Broadcast open. All across the galaxy, screens lit up. Citizens, soldiers, children, leaders. Everyone watched. Rhea stepped aside, showing the Emperor kneeling weakly. This is a man responsible for 10 billion deaths, she said. Let the galaxy judge him. The Emperor looked around, horrified. No, turn the broadcast off. Off! Rhea stepped back. Justice is not killing you, she whispered. It is letting everyone see who you really are. The whole galaxy watched the Emperor break. And in that moment, the greatest tyrant in the stars was defeated. Not by a blade, not by death, but by the truth he could not hide. Rhea turned away, her voice steady. Take him. Human soldiers entered the hall. The Emperor had no fight left. The Emperor was dragged out of the throne hall in full view of the galaxy. His golden crown fell to the floor, rolling across the stone like a forgotten toy. His once powerful steps were now shaky and slow. For the first time in history, the Emperor of the Galactic Empire walked without guards, without pride, and without a throne. Behind him, Commander Rhea Malik followed with calm, silent steps. The palace doors opened to a massive courtyard. Thousands of human soldiers stood waiting. Tens of thousands of Imperial citizens watched from a distance. And above them, millions more watched the live broadcast. Every screen, every city, every star system. The galaxy had never seen a moment like this. White medium star, the fall of an empire, not by fire, but by truth. The Emperor was pushed to his knees on the marble platform. His hand shook violently. He stared at the cameras, breath trembling. This is a violation, he whispered. This is humiliation. Rhea stepped forward, her armor reflecting the sun. No, she corrected softly. This is truth. Her voice echoed across the entire capital. For hundreds of years, the Galactic Empire ruled by fear. You silenced voices. You burned worlds. You carried out massacres and called them order. And then you killed 10 billion innocent humans. The Emperor squeezed his eyes shut. Rhea continued, This galaxy has suffered under your rule long enough. She turned to her soldiers. Bring the evidence. Screens lit up behind her, showing images of the Emperor's crimes. Ruined planets, burning cities, disappearing species, silenced protests. The massacre of the 10 billion. Every world watched, horrified. The Emperor covered his face with shaking hands. No, stop showing that. Rhea lowered her voice. You wanted the galaxy to watch humanity burn. Now the galaxy watches your truth. White medium star Earth refuses a throne. Citizens of the Empire began chanting. End the Empire. Justice. No more. Rhea raised her hand and silence fell instantly. People of the galaxy, she said, listen carefully. Everyone leaned forward. Millions held their breath. Earth did not come here to rule you. Gasps spread across the crowds. Some aliens even cried in relief. "We do not want your crown," Rhea continued firmly. "We do not want your throne. We do not want to replace one empire with another." She looked directly into the camera. "We came only for justice." Her next word shook the hearts of every species. "Humanity does not start wars. But if you murder our people, we will end your empires." The ground trembled with cheers. White Medium Star, a new council is formed. Rhea nodded to a group of alien leaders standing nearby. "Former enemies of the Empire. The rule of fear ends today," she said. "Aurelius Prime will no longer be the center of an empire." She looked at the leaders. "This galaxy will be rebuilt, not by one ruler, but by many voices." The alien leaders stepped forward, stunned. "You trust us with this?" one of them asked. Rhea nodded softly. "If we don't trust each other, then the 10 billion died for nothing." The crowd went silent. It was the first time in centuries someone had spoken to Galaxy like equals, not as subjects, not as enemies, but as partners. White Medium Star the Emperor asks one last question. As the soldiers pulled him away, the Emperor whispered, "Why didn't you kill me?" Rhea looked at him with steady, calm eyes. "Because death is mercy," she said, "and you don't deserve mercy." The Emperor's face fell. He finally understood. Living with the hatred of an entire galaxy was a punishment worse than death. He was taken away, to be judged not by humans, but by every species he once oppressed. Justice had begun. White Medium Star, the galaxy bows to humanity, not out of fear, but respect. Every ship in orbit, every city on the capital world, every distant moon watching the broadcast bowed their heads, not because humans were stronger, not because humans won a war, but because humans chose justice over power. A Drex elder said on live broadcast, "Humans have the strongest hearts in the stars." A Harkon warrior added, "They lost everything, yet they refused to become monsters." And a young Imperial child whispered, "Humans saved us." White Medium Star Commander Rhea's final message. Rhea walked to the edge of the palace balcony. The entire galaxy watched her. She breathed once, deeply, carrying the weight of 10 billion souls. Then she spoke. "Today is not a day of victory. It is a day of remembrance." She raised her fist toward the sky. "For the 10 billion who were taken from us, we will never forget you. We will never forgive your killers. And we will protect every world that stands against tyranny." Her voice grew strong, powerful, unforgettable. This galaxy is no longer ruled by fear. It is ruled by unity, by courage, and by truth. The entire galaxy repeated after her. For the 10 billion. Human ships lit their engines. The sky glowed blue. The war was over. And humanity, broken, grieving, but unyielding, walked forward into a new future, not as conquerors, but as guardians.